Good morning, students. Hope you all are fine and safe at home. So, students, as you all know from today onwards, your online classes have started. So, today we will be discussing about the topic respiration, which earlier I had sent you in PDF. So, students, I'm going to share my screen. So, everyone, see. Students, I'll be discussing the chapter that is there in your book. So, kindly I request you all to open your books on keep in front of you so that any important line I'll ask you to underline, you can underline. Respiration. So we human beings or any living organism, in order to survive, we all need to respire. And for respiration, the important gas that is oxygen is required, which help us to respire. We all know that we inhale oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. So what is respiration, students? Respiration is the process in which food is broken in presence of oxygen to release energy. When we are respiring, we are releasing energy. Okay. So in this way, respiration, it provides energy for all living organisms. So we can also say that respiration is important for all living organisms on earth, including human, animals, plants, everyone. Why it is important? To survive. Respiration is important to survive. And respiration is carried out by the respiratory system. What are the respiratory system in our body? The respiratory system in human bodies are lungs, nose, mouth, and skin. And in plants, the respiratory organ is stomata. Okay? And many animals and insects like cockroach, earthworms, all this they respire through their skin. Fish, they respire through their gills. Okay, so respiration is carried out by two steps. What are the two steps? External and internal respiration. What is respiration? External respiration is also known as breathing. We say now that we are breathing, that is external respiration. Okay, so external respiration, it is the process in which oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. Now switching on to second step, the second step is internal respiration. It is otherwise known as cellular respiration. Why it is known as cellular respiration? It is known as cellular respiration because the cells in our body that are present are involved in this respiration. Exchange of gases takes place between the cells that are present in our body, not only in human body, in animals, insects, in everyone's body. Okay, so here what happens in cellular respiration, the food is again broken down in the cell and presence of oxygen is obviously required, then only energy will be released. So when we're eating anything, suppose for example students, if you don't eat for 3 to 4 days, what will happen? You will feel dull, you will feel lazy, you will not feel like doing any work, you will feel like you're fainting. Okay, and the most important thing is you'll feel lazy, you'll not feel like doing anything. But if you eat, what will happen? You will feel like running, playing, talking, studying, everything. So what is difference between these two things? That you're doing work and you're not doing work? The difference between these two things is that energy which is required. If you're not eating, you will not get energy. So you will not feel like doing any work. You will feel lazy. But when you're eating, this food is being broken down into small substances, into small complex substances. And when the food is being broken down, oxygen is required. And if the food that we are eating, when it is being broken down, then after breaking down of food, what is being released? Energy is being released. and at the same time water is also being released. Understood? Okay. So this everything, this all takes place within the body, that is inside the body, in the cell. That is why it is known as internal or cellular respiration. So see students, in the yellow color box it is given the reaction, that is glucose plus oxygen, it gives carbon dioxide, water and energy. Carbon dioxide means that you're exhaling when you're respiring. Okay. Food, in food glucose is present and oxygen is required for respiration. So when your food is being broken down into small substances, what it is giving, it is giving water and energy. But when we are respiring, we are inhaling oxygen. See this oxygen, we are inhaling, and carbon dioxide we are giving. So the product that is formed, the combination of glucose and oxygen, is carbon dioxide, water and energy. Now, types of respiration. There are two types of respiration, students. One is aerobic respiration and another is anaerobic respiration. So what is the difference between these two? The difference between aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration is oxygen. Yes, in aerobic respiration, what happens? Aerobic respiration will take place when there is presence of oxygen. Means if there is oxygen, then only aerobic respiration will take place. Whereas in aerobic respirations take place without oxygen. Means without oxygen also there will be respiration. So switching on to aerobic respiration topic, the process of respiration which takes place in presence of oxygen is known as aerobic respiration. So example is what? Cellular respiration. Just earlier which I discussed about internal and cellular respiration. That all takes place in presence of oxygen. So the presence of oxygen is very important. It is very essential in this type of respiration. In aerobic respiration, what happens? Glucose is being broken down and high amount of energy is being released. Aerobic respiration takes place in plants and animals also. So again, the same equation is given. Glucose plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide, water and energy. But here what happens in aerobic respiration? Energy that is released will be very high. Now switching on to the next topic, that is anaerobic respiration. As earlier I told you, anaerobic respiration means without air. Aerobic means with air, but anaerobic means without air. So here the respiration, it does not require oxygen. It does not require oxygen. So that is why it is known as anaerobic respiration. Suppose, for example, in plants, what happens? If the oxygen that is supplied to the plants is running short, when it will run short, if there will be waterlogged, if the soil gets waterlogged. So in this case, what happened? In this case, energy is obtained. The plant will obtain energy via anaerobic respiration. You can see anaerobic respiration example in fermentation also. Okay, so fermentation is what? Fermentation is the process which is used for baking bread and brewing alcohol. Fermentation also takes place in, common example is, you all must have tasted dosas and idlis in your life. Okay, when your mom prepares that batter, okay, using the rice and all sort of dals, using, whenever she makes the batter, she keeps it for one night, she covers and keeps it for one night, and next day what you will see? Next day you will see that the batter has been fermented and it is ready to make idlis or dosa. So fermentation is used for baking purpose and brewing alcohol. Okay, so now that was for example of plants. Now in example of animals, what happens? Suppose when we are exercising a lot, or when we are running to some distance, we are running and we are in full speed we are running. So at some time what will happen? After, when you stop running, what will happen? Your heartbeat will increase, and even the rate of respiration, the that will also be increased. You will start panting. Okay, पैंटिंग मीन्स हाँफना, इन हिंदी इट इज नोन एज हाँफना. जब आप बहुत ज्यादा दौड़ भाग करते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा काम करते हैं, बहुत दूर तक दौड़ते हैं, आप हाँफने लगते हैं ना, दैट इज ओनली नोन एज panting. Okay, so when we exercise a lot or when we run, what happens? The muscles that is not able to get required amount of oxygen, and the blood is also not able to obtain that much of and blood doesn't contain that much of energy. So that is why what happens, proper amount of oxygen is not reaching to our lungs. That is why what happens, we will start panting. Okay, so this what happens, in order to get sufficient amount of oxygen, our muscles will require an aerobic respiration process. In this case, anaerobic respiration will process. Anyhow, our muscles, they, it has to carry oxygen. Without oxygen, we cannot survive it. Our muscles also cannot survive. Our muscles, in order to get, it will anyhow it will want more and more amount of oxygen. So, but you're not getting sufficient amount of oxygen. So what will happen? That time, our muscles, for short time, it will carry that anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration means, students, I told you, without oxygen. So without oxygen, our muscles will carry out that anaerobic respiration. See, students, the equation is given here. That is, glucose give lactic acid and energy. Now I will tell you what is lactic acid and how it works. Suppose what happens, as you see, anaerobic respiration, it doesn't have that much sufficient amount of oxygen, so it will not be able to release more amount of energy. In aerobic respiration, what was happening, high amount of energy was released. Why? Due to presence of oxygen. But in anaerobic respiration, what happens, small amount of energy is released. Why? Because there is no oxygen. So this is why, this is because oxygen can only be partially broken down. And when glucose is being partially broken down, what happens? A poisonous chemical, that is lactic acid, it is being produced in our body. And when lactic acid is being produced in our body, the students, what happens? It stops the muscles from working. Means it will, there will be muscular cramp. Okay, you will sometimes start getting pain in your hands or in the legs. Leg, which portion? In the back side, that is below the knee, in the back portion, you will sometimes get muscular cramp. That is what? That is due to the deposition of lactic acid in the muscles. So to get rid of this lactic acid, oxygen is needed. So the amount of oxygen that will break the lactic acid into small complex substances. So when this oxygen is breaking the lactic acid into small complexes, then it is known as oxygen depth. Okay, so what is oxygen depth? The amount of oxygen which is needed to break the lactic acid into small components is known as oxygen depth. So that is why oxygen is very much important for our body. Okay, students, I hope you all are cleared with this. Whatever just now I explained, that is process, two steps of respiration, that is external and internal. External is otherwise known as breathing. Internal is otherwise known as cellular respiration, and two types of respiration, that is aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So I request students, to you all, to now study till here. Whatever just now I explained, study till here, and after that, what you will have to do, you will underline your doubts and you will keep whatever you're facing problem. And once I complete the topic, you will note down all your doubts and you will send in the group, that is class 7 group. Okay, so now I request students to you to complete your work now, that is class work. Put today's date and write the chapter's name in capital letter and write vocabulary as heading, and write from the entire chapter, write the difficult words that you find difficult. There is no limit, it can be 20, 25, 40, anything it can be. Okay, so whatever word you find difficult, underline that word in your book and just note down in your copy. That is the interleaf copy that you used to follow, like same in standard 6. Okay, students, then done for today. Have a good day and study. Thank you.